Okay.
Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountain, Shenandoah River. Life is old there, older than the trees, younger than the mountains, flowing like a breeze. Country road, take me home to the place I belong, West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home, down country road. All my memories gather round her, miner's lady, stranger to blue waters, dark and dusty, painted on the sky, misty taste of moonshine.
Hello, Easy Nation, and welcome to episode 22 of the Darth Easy Show. So guys, once again, welcome to another episode of the Darth Easy Show. And we got a very fun episode ahead. I mean, we were just jamming out to a little country roads. This is the third, before I even begin the show, this is the third movie this song has been used in. The first movie of the year was Alien Covenant, which I actually just rewatched the other day. And then you had the movie a couple of weeks ago, or a few weeks ago, I forget what it was called, the movie about the heist movies. Hold on a second. Logan Lucky. And now we have Kingsman, The Golden Circle. So, let's get right to the show. As always, we have 6 things to talk about, and we have a little more of a packed show than I usually have, because fall TV is starting up. I have Star Trek Discovery to talk about the first 2 episodes. So let's get right to it. So first we can talk about movies. This is everything going on in the world of theaters. Every movie that I've been seeing in theaters, and the classic movie review of the week, which came out on the Darth Easy YouTube channel on Sunday. And the first movie to talk about, and it is the theme of the week! So the theme of the week this week was Kingsman, The Golden Circle. So Kingsman, The Golden Circle was the sequel to 2015's Kingsman, The Secret Service. And I was very much looking forward to this movie. This movie was in my top 10 anticipated movies of the year, probably, and also it was really high up there in my top 10 anticipated movies for the fall, and I was even going to take a day off to go see this movie, but I am so glad I did not do that, because this movie was probably one of my most disappointing movies of the year. That being said, it is not a bad movie. That is, like, I've seen some movies that have been really disappointing, and I'm just like, oh man. But this was a movie that was not really, it wasn't a bad movie, it just wasn't as good as I was hoping it would be. This movie is starring Taron Egerton, Colin Firth, Mark Strong, Jeff Bridges, Julianne Moore, Pedro Pascal, Channing Tatum, and Halle Berry. It's a stacked cast. It's a great cast. And the cast does a really good job. There's only one person who does not do good in this movie. I'll get right to her. Julianne Moore. I thought her role in this movie was so cartoony. It felt like she was in an Austin Powers movie, where Kingsman, it spoofs the James Bond movies. It plays the nostalgia of the original. That's what the first one did really, really well. But this one just didn't do that for some reason. And I thought Julianne Moore's character was just so out of place, and I just did not like her in this movie at all. And I like Julianne Moore. I thought she, like Dawn John a few years ago, I loved her in that movie. And then the action in this movie was actually pretty good. I thought all the cool action scenes were great. Matthew Vaughn's one of my favorite directors. And whenever I hear Matthew Vaughn's doing a movie, I'm like, sign me up. He's one of my favorite directors. X-Men First Class, Kick-Ass, and then the original Kingsman. I love his movies. But fortunately, the story, I think a lot of it was the story in this movie that was the main problem with Kingsman: The Golden Circle. Now, I did like the introduction of the American spy agency, because one thing I really did enjoy about them was that they had the British spy agency, all their code names were King Arthur's court. You had Arthur, Galahad, Lancelot, and Merlin, but for the American, they're named after alcohol. Like, you had Chad Tatum, his code name was Agent Tequila. You had Jeff Bridges, he was Agent Champagne. You had Pedro Pascal, who was the Red Viper in Game of Thrones, and he was Agent Tequila. And it was just such an interesting thing to do. And the main problem I had with this movie was it killed too many characters off. Don't get me wrong. Like, when I talk about TV shows like Walking Dead, the reason why I gave up on Walking Dead was because they never killed anyone off. And don't comment right now saying, "Oh, they actually did. They killed Glenn off." They killed him off once, and then you find out he wasn't dead, and then they kill him off again. I couldn't watch it anymore after that. But I'm not here to bash Walking Dead, because I could do that any day of the week. But there was this is getting into a little spoiler territory. So, as always on the podcast, I do talk spoilers. The character I really liked in the first Kingsman movie was Roxy. Roxy was the girl character that you had Exy going on the journey of becoming a Kingsman with, and you really feel for her character, and you're getting this kind of sense of a journey for the two. But they decided to kill her off in 20-30 minutes. So what was the point in that journey in the first freaking movie? I don't understand that. And even killing Merlin off. I like Mark Strong, and they did not need to kill his character off. Maybe he didn't want to be in another Kingsman movie. I doubt that. I seriously doubt that. But his death was great. It was a sad death. The song, Country Road, Take Me Home. Overall, Kingsman: The Golden Circle was disappointing. And you can check out my full review. It'll be up tomorrow. Or on Wednesday. So now it's time to talk about my classic movie review of the week. So this is not really a classic movie review, mainly because I have to get ready for a movie coming out in November, and that is Thor Ragnarok. So I decided to go back and review the 2011's Kenneth Branagh movie, Thor. So this was the first Thor movie. This was Marvel's really big chance when it came to making these outlandish kind of movies. Like Thor, it's a Norse god. How are you going to make a Norse god movie? And then you're like, oh, they kind of stick the landing. And then whenever they made Guardians of the Galaxy, who the hell are these five? Like Thor, you can kind of understand. And then they blew everyone away with Guardians of the Galaxy. And then after Guardians, they decided to do Ant-Man. It's like, it's just a guy who becomes small. Why would you do that? And then they decided to do Doctor Strange, a guy who has magic. So Thor was really the big first chance Marvel actually really took. And I really enjoy Thor. I think Chris Hemsworth does a really great job in this role. I think the villain Loki, played by, I forget what his name is, Tom Hiddleston. Tom Hiddleston does a really great job as Loki. Really great villain. One of the best Marvel villains we've had so far. Not saying much, but he did a very good job in that movie. And then you also have some other actors. Natalie Portman. I'm not crazy about Natalie Portman in this movie, and I think a lot of it is she phones it in. Natalie Portman's a great actress. I mean, you can say that about like Black Swan, The Professional, or Jackie she was in last year. But I just thought she wasn't. I thought she just phoned it in. She's like, all right, send me a check, and I'll really talk about that when I get to Dark World, which Thor Dark World. Ugh. All right, so that. You can check out my full review of Thor right now on my YouTube channel. I post it on Sunday, as I do every Sunday. And now it's time to move on to TV. This is everything going on in the realm of television that Darth is watching. So, first we have... How many shows we have today? We have 4 episodes to talk about. We only have 3 episodes to talk about. Sorry about that. I can't count for some reason. So first we gotta talk about the season finale of Big Brother 19. Alright, so this is episode 39. I'm just glad the season's over with. This has been a very boring season, and I'm not happy how the show ended, mainly because Paul, I thought, played a great game. Probably one of the best Big Brother games I had seen probably since Derek played back in season 16. And I just thought he played such a great game. And we had a Russell Hand situation. Bitter jury. I just can't stand it. If you can't take the heat, don't come. If you're going to be on the jury, vote for the person who played the best game. They give it to the crybaby Josh, who didn't do anything all season long. Paul was a puppet master. He played such a great game, and I know the season was boring to watch, but I was just impressed with his game. My parents, who watch Big Brother as well, they were hoping Paul would go out. I mean, I want Paul to go out too, just so something interesting would happen. But I gave him props because he was playing a great game. This season was just off. I mean, Cody gets voted favorite house guest of the year, favorite house guest, mainly because he was the only other interested house guest, but he was only in the house for probably like 4 or 5 weeks. This is one of those. This has just been a weird season of Big Brother. So that is me talking about Big Brother. I may watch Big Brother Celebrity. I will watch it next season, no matter how much a bitch and complain about it. Now it's time to move on to the new show. What I like to call this the Josh McCouga rule. Josh McCouga is a guy on Collider's TV Talk, and he says when he gets a show, he gives it 3 episodes. He gives a show 3 episodes. If he doesn't like 3 episodes, then he's not going to watch it. And that's kind of a rule I kind of go off. I kind of go off more like a 2 or 3 episode rule. One of the last episodes I gave a chance and I just absolutely hate it was Supergirl. I gave that show 2 episodes, absolutely hate it, and never watched any more of it. So I started watching Star Trek Discovery, seasons 1, episodes 1 through 2, the Vulcan Hello, that, and the Battle at the Binary Stars. And this is its story is I've never been what, as you would say, a Trekkie. I've actually never seen any of the old series. I've never seen any of the old movies like Wrath of Khan. That's probably the only Star Trek movie of the old ones I would actually watch, because it's considered one of the greatest it's considered one of the greatest science fiction movies of all time. And I absolutely and the new movies I watched, the first time I watched the first Star Trek movie, I was like, it was okay. And then I rewatched it and I actually fell in love with it. It's one of those movies where I watched the first time, it's like, it's not that good. I kind of want to walk out of it. Then I rewatched it and actually loved it. So it's so now I'm watching Star Trek Discovery because, hey, I'm always up to trying some new TV shows, even though I probably shouldn't. And I watched the first episode yesterday. And I didn't know really what to expect from Star Trek Discovery, mainly because I've heard of all bad stuff going on, production, and I looked at the trailer. I wasn't really that interested in the trailer of the show, and I don't consider myself a Trekkie. The only movies I've liked are the new ones. And the last Star Trek movie, Star Trek Beyond, I didn't even care for that Star Trek movie, mainly because I used sabotage. And I watched the first episode last night. I watched the first 11 or 12 minutes, but then I passed out because I was kind of tired, and the episode was kind of boring me. And to be honest with you, I almost wanted to give up at that moment, because the first 25 minutes of the first episode is so campy. The dialogue is so terrible that I was just like, this is bad. And I was like, I may not even make it through this episode. But then I was talking to Rainy Cage when we were doing our movie trivia Smowdown show. He's like, give it to the end of the episode, and it gets better. And it did get better. And then I watched the second episode. I believe the Vulcan character, someone could probably comment or tweet to me this. I believe that's Spock's dad. Man, the only reason I know that is from an Inner Geekdom. Robert Meyer Burnett, big Star Trek guy, and I think that was one of the questions, was what is Spock's dad name? And I was like, isn't that Spock's dad? So that's an interesting way. The main character, I think her name is Mariah, something like that. I'm probably really wrong on that. I'm bad with names, especially of a show I just watched like an hour or two ago. And her parents were killed by Klingons, and she's raised in a Vulcan community and a place where emotions don't really reside. It's more about logic. And it was it was very interesting episodes of Star. I'm gonna give it a few more episodes, and I think it's not gonna be your traditional Star Trek show. Well, at least they had a little, it's like this season on Star Trek Discovery, like they do like on Doctor Who. It shows that at the end of the second episode, you find out that she's basically court-martialed, and she admits she's guilty, and she's thrown into prison. She's a felon now, but it looks like they're going to be using her skills in a space on a Starfleet ship called Discovery to help them fight against the Klingons. So it'll be interesting. It'll be an interesting show to watch. I'll keep you informed as I watch the show. Now it's time to move on to The Big Bang Theory, Season 11, Episode 1, The Proposal. So this was a very interesting episode of The Big Bang Theory. Not really interesting, because first off, the episode begins with Sheldon on his knee. He proposes to Amy, and then Sheldon, he's like, well, first off, this girl kissed me, and everyone's like, what? And so it made me how much I loved Amy. That was a funny moment. But then Sheldon and Amy, they call Bernadette, and Howard's like, he's like, I'm happy, and then Bernadette says, I'm pregnant. I'm like, of course you are, because you can't do anything original on a fucking sitcom. And when I was when me and Ray, after we did the movie Trivia Snowdown, he was saying, whenever he saw that, he was like, damn it, Darfisi was right. They are just gonna have a bunch of babies, man. I just don't know about this show. I like it, but the show needs to end. I don't need a show to go on for 30 freaking seasons. And I think Big Bang Theory needs to end. I hate the laugh track. After this show ends, I am done with laugh tracks. All laugh tracks need to end. And I just watched someone say that young Sheldon doesn't have a laugh track, so I'm kind of interested to watch that now. But I'll probably wait for the TV Talk crew to talk about it. So overall, Big Bang Theory premiere is funny at moments. And now it's time to move on to video games. This is everything going on in the realm of video games that I'm playing. Right now I'm playing Pokemon Sun. So right now I'm playing Pokemon Sun. I have beaten 3 of the kahunas. I have a full team of Pokemon. I just caught me the Ice Vulpix, which looks really cool. I really like some of the different regional Pokemon they have in this game. And I really like my Vulpix. I have Priamp evolve, my Mankey evolve into a Priamp, and I've been really enjoying playing Pokemon. What I've been doing is I'll turn on Collider Movie Talk, watch Movie Talk while I'm playing Pokemon Sun. So I'm interested to keep playing, and I'll keep all informed as I move on in the game. I'll probably have beat next week, maybe. Now it's time to move on to anime. This is everything going on in the realm of anime that I'm watching. And the first thing to talk about is Boruto, episode 25, The Turbulent Field Trip. So this episode of Boruto, Boruto and his classmates, they all are going on a field trip to the village hidden in the mist. And they're just like, oh, yay. I don't know if this might even be filler, to be honest with you. But it still has a little fun element to it. All the characters are going to the mist village. Boruto gets elected field trip leader. And it's a very, very fun. It was a very interesting episode. I'm curious what they're going to do in the Hidden Mist Village, because apparently some kind of danger is lying around the Mist Village. Because don't forget, this is the village formerly known as the village hidden in the blood, or the Blood Mist Village. The last episode to talk about for the week is My Hero Academy, Season 2, Episode 22. I'm going to butcher this name right now. Yaoyorozu Rising. So this episode, we had a bunch of team-ups. You had Froggy and, or Froppy and, Tsukunomi fight against one of the teachers. And you find out they win. Some of the action in this show is just really good. And one thing I also really like about this episode, you also had Shoto and the girl who can create stuff. They're fighting against a racer. And Racer, as long as he's staring at you, you don't have your powers. It's kind of an interesting ability. I very much like this show, and I'm curious. I'm really looking forward to when Bokuto and Deku fight against All Might. this has been a fun show. I'm sad that I only have 3 more episodes left because this is really one of my favorite animes out right now. And now it's time to move on to books. I've actually stopped. I'm not done reading Star Wars Inferno Squad. I will continue reading that. But I decided to pick up and start reading Star Wars Leia, Princess of Alderean. Because Claudia Gray is a writer, which I read both of her novels of Star Wars Lost Stars and Star Wars Bloodline, 2 books I really like. And this is a book set before the events of Episode 4. It's about Leia actually becoming a Princess of Alderaan, and how she's trying to get her father and mother's attention, Bail Organa, while they're trying to deal with the, trying to originate the rebellion. This was it's very good so far. I'm only about 20, 30 pages in, but I like it so far. I'm going to try to read it a little faster. I know I say that with every book I've started and failed reading, but I'm going to try to read it. I promise. And now it's time to move on to the final segment of the show, and that's upcoming. Everything coming into the theaters next week. The first movie to talk about is Flatliners. Flatliners is a movie starring Ellen Page. I think that's her name. The girl who played Kitty Pryde in X-Men, in the X-Men movies. Also, you have some other actors in there, which I couldn't tell you. You also have Diego Luna. He was in Star Wars Rogue One. This movie looks interesting. Basically, the basic premise of this movie is the the people, they stop their heart for a minute and they can do all kinds of stuff, but then I guess they're being haunted by a monster. So it looks kind of like a thriller style movie. So I'll be interested to see if this movie, if it gets a half decent Rotten Tomatoes scores. If it gets like a 20%, I will not be seeing this movie. But the movie I am absolutely looking forward to next week is American Made. American Made is the movie starring Tom Cruise, directed by it's the guy who directed Edge of Tomorrow, The Bourne Identity, and some other movies that I really, really like. And I'll have his name right now, and that is Doug Liman. Doug Liman, I really like his directing. This is a very different movie for Doug Liman to direct, because usually Doug Liman does these really cool action movies, kind of like Edge of Tomorrow. I'll be interested to watching this movie. And guys, that ends episode 22 of the Darth Easy Show. So guys, make sure if you don't mind, go subscribe to me on my Darth Easy YouTube channel. Get that subscriber count moving and spread this among your friends. Let's get this let's make this podcast viral. I do it once a week. I would love to have more subscribers so I can have more fellow members of the Easy Nation. Also, if you want to check out up-to-minute movie reactions, I have a Stardust profile. You can follow me at DarthEasy2. It's a cool little app. I've been getting some new subscribers, some new viewers telling me, "Man, I really like your stuff." I'm like, "Thanks, man." So guys, until next week, make sure y'all stay safe out there. It's a dangerous world we live in, and make sure you always stay easy. And until next week, bye.
Oh, take me home to the place I belong, West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home down country road. I hear her voice in the morning hour, she calls me, the radio reminds me of my home far away. Driving down the road, I get the feeling that I should have been home yesterday. Country roads take me home to the place I belong, West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home down country roads, take me home to the place I belong, West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home down country road, take me home down country road, take me home down country road.